All right, good evening and happy weekend, everybody. It is Bianca Stevens, the camera's right here. And it is time once again for another makeup tutorial. So I've gotten a handful of messages and requests about my makeup lately. So I thought I've got the time, I've got a show tonight. So let's go ahead and go live and I will teach you all my tips and tricks. So to preface, there's a million ways to paint a face. There's no right or wrong. This particular makeup is just kind of my standard SPF, my standard pretty face. It's my go-to face for basically any stage show because it's dark and intense and layered and will definitely catch the eyes of the folks all the way in the back with the cheap seats. So, yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and get things started. So, yeah, ready or not, here comes Mama. We're going to put this hair back so it's not in the way. And clearly I have just showered and shaved, so I'm nice and fresh and clean and ready to rock. Step one of pretty much any drag face is to block down those eyebrows. So before we do that, we're going to want to take some rubbing alcohol and clean off our brow. So you can use a cotton ball, you can use a little towel, whatever you prefer. We're just going to get all the excess dirt and oil, even after we wash our face out. There can still be some lingering oils left in our brows, so we're going to take that off so that the glue can stick to hair and only hair. So we're going to take our little Elmer's glue stick, cute little purple little fantasy here, and step one of the glue is just to swipe it on. So we're getting all those little hairs covered in glue. All right, now that that's out of the way, you can take a little spoolie like this. I prefer to use this gunked up little comb. I'm using the metal ends of the comb, and we're just combing the hair in our brow straight up. So we're gonna pretend we're Paula Abdul. We're going for that straight up life. Then once those are combed down, we're gonna take the end of the makeup stick or brush, the handle, and then just really flatten that in. So we're combing through the glue first and then flattening these girls down. My approach is to cover the entire brow and draw it on from scratch, which we'll get to later. So I like a nice blank canvas when I start my drag face. So if your glue gets a little too high, just simply swipe that finger, get some of that excess off as your layers build. And then get a blow dryer, and we're just going to dry these off. So make sure it's on the cold setting. We don't want any heat blasting up melting our face off. So with your Beyonce life, toss your boy hair. Hello, Jeffrey. Kind of lightly tap it out as it's going along. Make sure it's nice and dry. Okay. Hi, Marshall. Hi, Ava. All right. Round two. Once you can't feel the stickiness anymore, take our glue stick, and once again, we're just gonna swipe that glue from the bottom up, straight up. Hi, Marky Mark. Going back to our blow dryer. All right, so like I said, today's lesson is going to be more focused on product usage and technique. It's a pretty basic drag face. It's kind of my go-to mug. And the reason I like neutrals, not only do I find them just beautiful, I love that kind of exotic 90s fake tan fantasy, but I find that once you master your technique and the application with neutrals, adapting color is a lot easier. Okay, now, round 3 of the glue. So you'll notice, you can feel the little texture between like the little ridges in between your eyebrow hairs. So to combat that, this layer of glue, we're just gonna go side to side. Excuse me. Just make sure to cover all of that hair surface. Ooh, it's almost time for a new glue stick. We got supplies, we're good. And this will just help reduce the visibility of the actual brow hair on top of the, or underneath the makeup rather. Oftentimes, if you don't do this third step, you'll just see ridges. Which, you know, I mean, if you want your eyebrows completely gone, shave them off. But for those of us that have to kind of exist in both worlds, the no eyebrow look, not a cute one for me. And yeah, as another reason this purple glue is great is because it dries clear, so when you don't notice as much of a purple hue, toast it dry. Obviously, it does accumulate as you do layer and layer of the glue, but we're just going to do 4 layers of glue tonight. You are watching, do us a favor. I'm trying to expand the Bianca empire, so hit us with a like, comment, and definitely share. If you would share this video, that would be great. I would love that. I'd be so grateful. Okay. All right, we're ready for our final layer of glue. And this one, we're going bottom to top, swiping up. All right. Nope, no eagles for me tonight. And by all means, if you are learning a tip and trick and want to throw a few shekels your girl's way, you can hit me up on Venmo at the SLC Showgirl. Same for Cash App, $ the SLC Showgirl. We are raising money for a pageant, girl. Just about there. All right. They'll almost feel like plastic when they're dry enough to continue. So now we're going to set these babies down. We're just going to take some of our fair Ben Nye translucent powder. I just like to use the lid of my larger powder jar to hold it, because we'll be using this quite a bit today. We love our Ben Nye powder. And we're just going to take that loose powder and just press it in real hard into that brow. And that's your final layer of defense against ridges and underbrow nastiness. Okay. Hi, Lavon. Okay. Take your large fluffy brush, large powder brush, and just wipe away the excess. Swirl, swirl, swirl. And I think I'm going to open a window. It is a little steamy. Okay, great. We are browed and powdered. So, next step before we put on any makeup is to prime our face. So today I'm using our Too Faced Cosmetics Hangover RX Primer. 2 pumps of that. And when you're priming your skin, make sure not to get any of that goo on your, on top of your eyebrow, because it can actually strip some of that powder and glue, and then you've got a big old mess to clean up, which we don't want. So just a nice layer of primer. I also, after I shave, I moisturize, so there's a few layers of protection from my skin to the actual makeup itself, because girl, we're painting for the back row. It's going to be heavy. So, yes, I have, Lavon. I've been making some changes and pursuing my passions, and it's been fabulous. So thank you for tuning in. So, okay. Excuse me. Double cheeseburger does not want to say no. All right. We're primed, we're locked and loaded, we're ready to go. So, like I said, most of my products, I love MAC. I'm a huge MAC fan. I've been using it for years. We're using the MAC Full, it's literally just called Full Coverage Foundation. And it's just a nice full coverage cream. So we're going to take our little sponge, swipe up some of this product, and wipe it onto the face. You don't have to worry about like streaks or anything, because the step 2 of this foundation process, we're going to cover all that. So, like I said, I like to start with a totally blank slate. So I am just going to take this all over the face. Now, depending on how dark the beard hair is, if you're, a naturally hairy individual, and you find that there's a dark shadow under your foundation, at this stage of the game, before you did your foundation, you would take a red or an orange lipstick and sponge it onto your face the same way I'm doing with the foundation, and then powder it down lightly before you begin your base foundation process. And that will neutralize the cool tones in your beard. I don't really grow that thick facial hair, and so a full coverage foundation combined with the layers of powder and everything else I put on top is usually enough to get me through a night of performances or a pageant or whatever it may be. So tap that into the brow, on the lid. And so we're just going to keep going until you're just an egg-headed hoe. Just one flat color all the way across, because we're going to paint our dimensions in. Okay. Now, to get it nice and buffed, we're going to need a foundation brush. My brushes, honestly, I love a dirty brush. I think the loaded up product just sits on the skin nice and dense. So we're just going to take this duo fiber. Like I said, my brushes are all dirty, but I only use one brush per product. So this is just a liquid foundation brush, duo fiber, and we're just going to swirl first down here. I don't take my makeup down my neck too far because it can ruin your costumes. If you blend it properly, it shouldn't be too clockable. Okay. And then with the rest, we can just kind of tap tap all around your face or swirl, swipe, whatever you want to do. But this will just get rid of any fine lines or any other imperfection from the sponge application. And then also this loads up your foundation brush with your base color, so that if you over contour, over highlight, you need to ring it in, you can just take this and it kind of acts as an eraser. So, all right, our foundation's on. Now we're going to start the contour process. We're going to take a foundation brush, one of these little flat fellas, just like that. And the next shade, so this is, the shade color of my foundation is a 30. Now we're going up to a 50. It's just a really dark, it's like 2 whole shades darker. This is going to be our contour shade, so we're going to swirl some of that into the brush. And then start with your cheekbone from the top of the ear, suck your cheeks in, and then just draw that line down, connect the two into your little dimple. Okay. Make sure you're nice and even. If you overdraw or whatever, in this stage, you're totally good. Just go back in with your foundation, wipe it off, start again. Gonna add it a little thicker towards my temple. So, all right, cheek is on. We're gonna contour the jawline, and then also I like to bring a line down here. And that just kind of helps frame the face a little bit. Just makes it a little more feminine when it's all blended out. And on your forehead, follow along the hairline. Contour that forehead down. Also, I love a nice dark forehead contour because it helps hide your wig lace. That wig lace has all that dark makeup to kind of disappear into, so it's helpful for that as well. And then we're going to buff this out as just like we did with our foundation. So this is a flat foundation brush, bronzer brush. I love the little makeup sets. If you're newer to makeup, especially drag, and all the techniques involved, you can certainly, there's a lot of makeup brands that will make brush sets that have what the brush is used for printed right on the brush. It makes it really easy if you're learning the ropes. So, all right, from here, we're just gonna do a flicking motion to blend that cheek up into the face. I like to keep the bottom nice and sharp and dark because I love that dramatic cheek, but this will just get you nice and blended. So we're just lightly picking it up and moving along as we see fit. So, and then a light tap, and see, and now that's just diffused up into your foundation. Repeat on your other side. Okay. And then also to really punch that blend, we're going to take our foundation brush and just kind of tap right in between the contour and your foundation shade. It just gets you nicely blended. And then just repeat everywhere there's contour. So we'll do a little swipey action here so I'm not tapping my makeup too far into my face. Just tap, tap, tap. Get you a nice soft jawline. Especially if you're a stage performer. I just want to stress the importance of quality lighting when doing your makeup. The brighter, the better. That way, when those crazy stage lights are smacking you right in the mug, it doesn't all disappear because you've painted dark enough to accommodate that. So, paint in as bright of a light as you can stand. And then, once again, foundation, blendy, blendy, blend. Drama. Okay. That's contour. Now we're gonna highlight with the same products and same techniques. Take another foundation brush. That's not light enough. So now I'm using W10 MAC Full Coverage. We're going to highlight under our eye like so. Repeat on the other side. Okay. And this next step with the highlighter actually is step 1 of my eye makeup process. So we're going to take this highlight and just yank it all the way into our hairline, and this highlight line is going to become the base of my wing liner when we get there. So just draw it up. And you can see how high that goes. It even comes above my natural brow. And that just gives you that really dramatic, face-lifted fantasy. So as you can see, so yeah, so this line now, that's where my wing liner is going to sit when we put our black eyeliner on. So, all right, and then a little bit of highlight on the middle of the forehead, and down the center of your nose as well. All right. We're going to take a brush just like our foundation brush. It's the same duo fiber kind of brush. And instead of, like with the contour, we pulled it up. We're pulling our contour, our highlight rather, is being pulled down. So start with a few swipes. Get that line buffed away. The way I explain blending is it's like drawing on a line and then erasing it. So we're left with like the colors and the pigment of our highlight, but that harsh line is blended out. So you got one side blended, one side not so much. Okay? But look how easy this is. We're just literally pulling, and you don't need to really apply a lot of pressure with your brush either. Just nice gentle pulls. And just go back and forth so it's a nice even application. I like to really, we don't want to see any hard, the only hard line I'm going to keep is the one at the top. Because like I said, that's my roadmap to a fierce wing liner. All right, taking our little forehead highlight and brushing that up a little bit. Just tap it out until it's blended to your content. Okay. And that is the cream highlight and contour to do. We're done. Now it's time to powder down. Okay. We're We're going back to that fair powder that we used before, the Ben Nye translucent powder. Da, da, da. And we're going to put that on top of all of our highlights. Just take your little puff and really get that powder in there. Okay. Next, we're going to take the neutral set, Totally Colorless Face Powder, also by Ben Nye, same formula, and we're going to put that everywhere else. Don't be shy with this. Especially with this product, there's actually an antiperspirant built into the formula of the powder, which can help reduce sweating. I mean, it's a little bit. It's not a miracle worker, but it does help. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sonoran Desert. Is that Arizona? Sounds like Arizona. Okay, now we're going to bake for a little bit. We're just going to, just for a few minutes, I like to just chill, you know, text somebody back, go up and pet the dog, take a shot, whatever you got to do. I just like to let all that powder just sit in and just melt into all that foundation. It will just help set your makeup that much better and just prevent smudging and craziness down the line. So during the cream stage though that we just wrapped up, that's your playground. So if you want to mess around with like a new cheek shape or height or thickness or a different highlight, if you want to play around with the shapes and structure of your face, the cream phase is where you want to do that. Because once you're powdered down, you're pretty much married to it. So you can also experiment with, you can take the same products, the full coverage foundation, since it's a cream, and you can try different eyebrow shapes. You can try different lip shapes or eyeliner shapes. And then if you land on something that you like, then you can just set it with powder. And then that step is more or less already sketched out for you when you get to that stage of the rest of the makeup. So I am going to... Okay. All right. We baked for a couple minutes. We are ready. We're going to take our powder brush again and just swirl all that excess powder away. All right. Foundation check. Up next is we're going to define our highlights and contours. So we're going to take our MAC Studio Fix palette. This is the light medium combo. And reinforce those highlights and contours. So we're going to take just a basic powder brush, powder or blush brush, whichever we fancy calling it. And I lost one of the ones along the bottom, but we're using all three of these bottom contour shades. So load up that brush and then swipe it onto your contour. And that's just going, the Studio Fix will give you that really beautiful photo finish, and it just reinforces all the color we just put on. Just scooch that along the bottom of the cheek and blend it up. So anywhere we have contoured, we're going to go over with this powder. Little technique, if you find that your brush is a little too big or too fluffy, just pinch the bristles as you're putting your product on, and that will help concentrate the product where you want it to land. Okay, and then same thing with the highlight shades. So I'm going to be using these top two. Use every crayon in your box. And we're just going to swipe that on top of our highlight. All right, so now we can see we've got that. We are getting ready for the stage. It's dark, it's impactful. It's really going to give you a lot of that dimension on stage, because when those spotlights hit, they're bright. You know, if your makeup's not thick enough, it can wash you out, and then it's defeated the purpose of all this. So, okay. We're going to keep her handy, I think. Keep that. It's one of my favorite palettes ever. And now it's brow time. So before we get into the eye makeup application, we're going to lay down a layer of the Fair Loose Powder, so that in the event of any powder fallout, you're wiping it off of loose powder, not your face, because that will ruin everyone's night. It'll ruin your face, which we don't want. So, okay, brows. So, I love just a classic bitchy drag brow. I just love that exotic, just like ice queen kind of look. So we are going to sketch her on. So we're taking the Jordana Easy Liner for Eyes retractable pencil. These are super cheap. Almost all this stuff you can find on Amazon with the exception of MAC. Just go through their website. Or if you have a store locally, go and get color matched and they can help you place an order for anything that's not covered in store. So we're going to start drawing the drag brow directly on top of the boy brow. So I like to go basically midway, like halfway through the thickness of my brow. And that's where our drag brow is going to start. So this is a nice, smooth, creamy pencil, so you can like flick it on if you're still kind of figuring out your shapes and stuff. Or if you've powdered down a cream brow underneath, you can just draw right on top of it. So first step is we're going to start, and then we're going to go all the way out. We're just going to draw a straight line up, and we're going to go out as far as the corner of my eye. Okay. So this looks like an angry little cartoon brow. Just tiny little line there. Take it out to your, except the corner of the eye. Repeat on the other side. And if you're new to this, brows can be stressful as hell. So go nice and slow, or practice with your cream products before you powder down your face. Okay. Doesn't have to be perfect here. There's plenty of opportunities down the line to correct. Okay, so you're looking like an angry cartoon, right? Now we're gonna take, we're gonna do the tail of the brow. And basically, once you've taken your straight line out to the corner of your eye, you're just gonna swoop it down. Just like that. And then that's going to become the base of our brow, the bottom of it. Okay. Now you do the top of our brow. So starting from the tail, we're just going to, as we're going to make it thicker as we go from the tail, outside tail, to the top of the brow, and then you want to maintain that thickness all the way down. So starting from about here. Just that easy. Okay. And keep in mind, eyebrows are sisters, not twins. So you want to be in the same neighborhood, but they're never going to be perfectly symmetrical. And if you stress yourself out about getting a perfect match on either side, you're going to be sitting in that makeup chair for a long time. So also mirror trick. So I've got a mirror on the wall here, and then I've also got this little guy here so that I can kind of bounce back and forth and just make sure that it's nice and balanced as I'm going along. Okay. So the general shape of our brows is now done. So just go ahead and fill them in. They don't gotta be perfect, just color them in like so. They might look a little grainy, but that's totally fine. We are far from done. All right, okay, we're colored in. Next, we need to define and smooth the brows. So we're gonna need 2 angle brushes, ideally. This is one of my favorite brushes on the planet. It is the 266 by MAC. It's just this real cute little angle brush, okay? And we're just gonna smooth out all that little grainy bullshit in the brow. Make it nice and smooth. Some gals do that trick with like a brow pen or an eyeliner even, where they try to replicate like natural hairs. That's just, I don't know. I think it's a cool look. It's just not quite my thing. I just like a nice draggy, smooth brow. So we're just smoothing all that stuff out. And once again, it doesn't have to be completely flawless and perfect because we are not done with these gals yet. Okay, repeat on this side. Just gentle little strokes. Just smooth out the pencil. Ooh, see, she's just itchy. She's already got an attitude. We don't have any makeup on. The face is like 30% on. She's already got tude. Diva. Diva status, y'all. Okay. Another favorite product that I've had forever is the Krylon eyebrow powder. Da, da, da. I love this. This is a nice waxy powder, so you can use it to fill in natural brows, or you can sketch on a new one, which is what we're doing now. So we're just gonna I'm taking that middle shade that's clearly got some miles on her. And with that it's the same kind of brush, it's a different one. I have two of the same. And then we are just gonna go right on top of our brow pencil, and that will smooth out, just gives it that nice photo finish. It's a nice matte powder. Take all that shine out. Just like that. Okay. Gentle little strokes. Okay. All right, we're just about there. So now we just need to define. So we're gonna take a concealer brush, like so. And another favorite product from my arsenal, which is, it's called Pro Longwear Paint Pot. It's this cute little deal from MAC. It's a cream to powder formula, so, we are running out. That's going in the MAC bag so I can do the recycling program, and we're gonna use another one. This shade is called Soft Ochre. It's a little bit lighter, and we're gonna highlight our brow bone. So load up that concealer brush with some of this concealer. And then we're just going to define the bottom. So if you like the shape you already have, go directly under what you've already drawn on. If one's a little too thick or a little too thin, this concealer step will help you. It's your kind of your last chance to correct any brow mistakes. And then right towards the end there, I like to really get in and take it in tight, because it just gives you that nice razor sharp point at the end of your brow. So you can see. And then a few like light taps of the finger will help set that in. And then I like to cover up the natural covered brow as well. Just like that. See, nice and sharp. It's just that really dramatic. Like I said, I can't afford a facelift, but I can certainly try to paint one on. So I just love that. I love that nice bitchy brow. Hi, Kwai. Okay, now something here. I think I over... Gotta do a little bit of correcting here. So the tail of this brow isn't quite as defined and arched as this one, so I'm just going to fix that. There we go. Okay, I feel better about that. So all I did to fix that was just thicken the brow on top and then concealed underneath. So just repeated the steps we already did and just made it a little more consistent with this other one on the side. I'm gonna take some of that brow powder and finish it off. And I'm feeling dramatic today, so you know what? We are going to take the darkest shade and we're going to do a nice ombre brow. And so we're just going to make the tail a couple shades darker than the rest. Just blend it in. Don't know if ombre brows are still trending, but I love the way they look on stage, so we're doing it. That's right, Jasleen. Brows must slay. So you can kind of see a nice dark tail. Blend that in. Just feather it out. All right. That's a good brow. Okay. So we're just gonna tap that out a little bit. Okay. Time for shadow. So all right, which palette should we dip into today? All right, I think a good way to go. This is a good standard palette. A lot of people are Morphe fans, so we are going to go into our Morphe Pride palette. This has all the colors you could need. James Charles is another good one. Oh, this palette needs to be cleaned. She's messy. That's a rookie mistake I've made a time or two, is dipping into a really, really messy palette, and then guess who has smudged shit all over themselves. It's not a good look. Okay. We're gonna go for our cute little travel size James Charles palette. So, okay, so this eye is definitely drama. So it's a lot of white, it's a lot of black. Those contrasting colors are really gonna give you some miles when you're on stage. Hi, Champagne Bubbles. Well, let me know when you do. I've got a calendar complete all the way through the end of May if you're looking for a gig. Okay. So we're starting with this, whatever this little shade is up here, this little peachy lightness, and we're just going to put that directly under the brow. Using a little MAC 239S, cute little powder brush. And we're just going right on top of brow highlight we just sketched on with our concealer. And that shadow combined with that shade of concealer gives me enough of that brightness. You can, if you're a little fair skin, you can certainly use good old classic clown white. But I find that this gives me enough of that really punchy brow highlight that I want to see. Okay. Next, we're going to throw in a transition color. So we're going to go for a tan, a little shade of brown. And this is going to be sketched out right on top of my natural brow. So my natural brow becomes my drag crease, or the start of it anyway. Dex-da-see, yes ma'am. We're doing a light function. What about you, girl? Are you doing some cross-dressing tonight? For the kids out in Louisiana? Okay, so you've got our brown sketched on, our light brown. And now we're going with a darker. And with these steps, the darker goes, the thicker I use my brushes. The thicker brush I use, rather. Okay. This next one is actually a blush. It's called Blunt. It's just a powder blush from MAC. We're gonna swipe up a bunch of that and really darken up this crease. Just give it lots of dimension. So now we're 3 colors in, and hopefully you can kind of see what it does for that ombre effect. I've heard that about you, girl. Blunt is my jam, yeah. And of course, it's the shade of like a Jamaican rolling paper, so I can appreciate the shade of the color being called Blunt. Okay, now as we're going along here, we're not taking our eyeshadow past our highlight line. That's the border. That's where you want to, if you want to keep your makeup nice and clean, contain it. So none of that eyeshadow is going past my highlight line. Okay. And then while I have Blunt out, we're going to give ourselves a little bit of a nose job. So just along the bridge of your nose, just take it down like so, and then I like to arch it into the brow. We're just gonna size down our nose. Boop. That's the goal, is to be so painted that you'll be able to see this from the Windy City. Okay, while we have our blunt out, that's so funny. While we have our blunt blush out, rather, we're going to shade our under eyes as well. And later on, when we move to the cheek process, we're going to be using this blunt again. So it's handy. Trying a new camera angle so you guys could, so I don't disappear into my little mirror each time I put something on. Okay. So just a little combination of swiping and stamping. Get you that. Just really framing out that eyeball. Okay, we're getting somewhere, kiddos. All right. Taking a fluffy blending brush and just doing tiny circles right on top of the darkest point of our crease thus far. And under here too, and just diffusing that color out. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to go back to our matte concealer, our little paint pot, as it's called. And we're going to define our cut crease. This is something that's going to take some trial and error if you are newer to drag makeup, just because finding where your shapes land on your individual facial architecture can be a journey. So just play, practice. So for me, I like to go, basically, my drag crease starts from my eyelid and it goes to the bottom of my natural brow. And the bigger the lid you draw on here, the more fun you get to have with glitters later. And then just swoop it down, like so. Okay. And then repeat on your other side. Hi, LaWanda. Speaking of out-of-town drag guests, we have the legendary LaWanda Jackson joining my show on Sunday, March 14th. Very excited. So 1 week from tomorrow. So we are carving out a crease, nice and sharp. Love it. All right. Before, during the highlight period, I talked about shaping out your wing liner. And guess what? That's where we're going next. Wing liner can be really, really tricky, which is why I map it out. So I'm just following on that line. You can still see that line that I drew from my highlight earlier, and that's the bottom of my wing liner. So we're gonna start, and we're gonna go all the way almost out to the tail of the brow. We're still gonna start at the corner of your eyeball and wing it out. Just like so, okay? Then we're going to turn this line into a triangle, and we are going to bring it down from the corner, or the tail of the brow, and draw it into the eye fold. Okay? Look at that. So once again, if you've maintained your, if you've kept your eyeshadows nice and tidy within that eye space, this wing liner will really define all that. So we'll just repeat on the other side. So corner of the eyeball, follow your wing line to the tail of the brow. And if you're using the lines you've already drawn on your face, it makes it a lot easier to make it symmetrical, so you're not stressed out about keeping them even. You know, we did a lot of the prep work already. Okay. And now nice and sharp. Okay. So now we've got that nice dramatic cat eye. And actually at this stage of the game, we are going to go in with our final eyeshadow color, which is black. The darkest black you can find, ideally. I like the black in the James Charles and Morphe palette. Don't we all, Michael Wesley? And then this one is actually a slightly thinner brush. Just this little fella right here. Load that bitch up with that black eyeliner, and then that black shadow is just gonna sit right on top of this cut crease we just drew on, okay? And then that, I mean, you can take along the whole crease if you'd like. I prefer to just bring the black to underneath the brow, so that as it's blended out, it's concentrated a little better. It just keeps it a little cleaner. If you have a start and an end point with all these lines you're drawing on your face, it will just really help contain, just minimizes the, overpainting, which sounds kind of odd because there's no such thing in my vocabulary. But it can get messy if you don't proactively maintain it, you know. Okay, so now we've got the base of our crease in there, and now we want to arch it into the wing liner. And then tap it in as you go along. Yeah, Champagne, we'll talk offline about details. Okay, swoop that in, and once again, we're keeping everything contained inside the wing liner. Okay. See, so it gives you that nice swoopy blended. Okay. All right. Now we want to take a little blending brush. I'm quite partial for this stage. I'm really quite partial to. It's called a pencil brush. It's got like it's a shadow brush, but it's got more of a tipped end, so you can control. You're not over distributing your product all over your face, right? So we're just gonna go and blend out our black crease. Okay, so as you can see, nice and blended. Okay, pre-blend, post-blend. That's the importance of blending, kids. I can't stress it enough. And when you're blending, you really don't need a lot of pressure. You're just feathering out the color that you've planted down. Oh, it's time for a haircut. Okay, we're gonna repeat over here. And see, so now you can really kind of come to appreciate, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 different neutral shades. And once again, if you wanted to use like fun colors, great, go for it. So this could be like a white, light pink, magenta, red, or purple would be really fun if you want to blend, you know, if you prefer a more colorful mug. But there's just no denying the impact that really dark black has on stage with your eye makeup. Just like so, okay? All right, let's see. Let's go ahead and tackle the under eye again. We're gonna go back to our blunt blush. And just intensify that color. If you, and once again, personal preference, like some gals like totally just take the highlight all the way up and don't undershade their eye, but my eyes are so small that I don't get the illusion that I want for myself if I don't overdraw basically everything. Okay. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing we did with our black crease, except that's just going to go underneath, just right up against on the bottom, on your bottom eyelid. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, and just we're gonna swing that up into the wing liner. And if you find like maybe you blended too much and your the black isn't looking as black anymore, totally cool. Just go back and just tap more black into it. That way you'll maintain your blend and you're just intensifying the parts that you want to be a little bit darker for you. just hop on that good old express flight to good Columbus. Oh, Courtney, I'm actually looking at a Columbus trip. I'm starting to book flights like today. So I will keep you posted because I'd love to come in. Even if I don't perform with you guys, I definitely want to come out and catch a show or two because I am obsessed with you guys out in Columbus, Ohio. So, okay. We've got our black underneath our eyes now. So same process. We're taking our tiny little pencil brush and we're just going to blend this out. Soft is a word I don't often use in makeup, especially considering how dark and heavy I like to paint. You know, I still want to be finessed and, you know, feminine and stuff, but I still want to maintain like that intensity. So it's a fine balance between, I guess by softness, I just mean like blended. Soft and severe. My Cash App is $the SLC Showgirl. Okay. So it's basically just a reverse crease. It's this foot on the bottom. Girl, if that fucking makeup smudged across my face. Okay. So yeah, we're actually closing in. We're making good progress here. So I mentioned earlier about like reapplying. That's kind of what I'm seeing right now. Like it's very blended underneath, but I want severe, I want dark. So we're just gonna tap in a little more of this black eyeshadow. Cute. The SLC Showgirl. Cutie time. Okay. Okay. All right. So hopefully you're able to see just all that gradient use of neutral color. Let's go ahead now and pop some glitter on. Let's make these eyes pop. Okay. Just deciding on colors and things. Okay. This is MAC Dazzle Shadow Liquid. It's just a brush on glitter, which can stand on its own. There's plenty of glitter in there to go out just like that if you want, but I really want to make it punch. So I use the Dazzle Shadow Liquid as a primer for any loose glitters that I'm going to be using. This is Reflex Gold, a glitter by MAC, and we're just going to tap that into the inner part of the crease. And that just gives you a really layered, multi-dimensional glow on the eyelid. A very classic drag shape. But this way, you're getting the 1-2 punch from the glitter in the Dazzle Shadow Liquid, as well as the loose glitter that you tap on top of it. So it just really gives it a nice multifaceted sparkle. There you go, dear. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, girl, now your crease is gleaming and beaming. Now it's time to finish up this eyeliner. So all we're going to do is just fill it on in, start from the inner corner, and then just connect those dots from here to here, and fill it in with all that black eyeliner. If your skin happens to fold and crease in this area, like it does for many of us, make sure that you paint just above your fold line, your natural folded crease. That will help, so that when you blink and stuff, that will help keep all that black liquid from getting them, making a mess all up in your pretty glitter that you just put on. Okay. All right. This does take a bit to set up. This is Italia Deluxe eyeliner. It's matte, waterproof, and with vitamin E. You can find it on Amazon. It's real cheap. It's like $5, $6, $7 a thing. And it works. So hopefully at this stage you can really start to understand and see the thought process and the payoff that goes into being really strategic about the way you place light and dark. So you have a really dark brow and a really light brow highlight. You've got a really light crease and then a really dark eyeliner and cut crease. And that just really gives you that dramatic stage look that we're going for today. Take your blow dryer and then just keep blowing until it doesn't look wet anymore. Oh, she's quite painted. I'm into it. Okay. Repeat on the other side. Thank you, Brittany. It's very sweet of you. Hello, Troy. We got the whole Southern States team in the house. We've got Troy Loren, our reigning Southern States National Showman at Large. Brittany Sebastian, our reigning Southern States National Southern States. I become Sean Connery when I say titles. Southern States National Showgirl at Large, and myself, your reigning Southern States National Showgirl. And all three of us are headed to Orlando in July to compete. at the National Showgirl pageant. All right, there we have it. Oh, is this your coronation ceremony, Troy? Okay, you too. So I'm gonna, once this dries, I'm gonna take a step back so you guys can see it from far away. Ordinarily, I'll take a few steps away from my station and check myself out in different lighting, different mirrors. But I really love checking yourself out on a phone so that you get a better handle on when people start posting and Instagramming and Snapchatting and all that stuff. You just have a little more control over what that audience is going to see. So. Pardon me, I'm in my skivvies, but we're gonna go back here and you can just see, you know, that really high impact light versus dark and get a better handle as to how it's gonna translate on stage, so. Powder every damn where. Okay. Alrighty. I'm feeling good about it. Let's slap some mascara on. This is the Too Faced Cosmetics Better Than Sex mascara. It's good. I don't know about that good, but it's a favorite. One of my best friends is a regional director for them, and so he hooked me up with some products, and he gave me a tube of this mascara a few years back, and I've been hooked on it ever since. I love it. Mascara can be really unforgiving too, so take a deep breath, take your time, swipe it on real slow. Okay. Now I need an eye pencil. Okay, that's it. We're going to close in our eyes a little bit. We're just going to smudge our black pencil on our waterline. Be careful as to not jab yourself in the eye. just get that nice smolder. All right. Another little tip is, once my eyeliner is completely dried, I like to go in and set it with black eyeshadow, and that will just help keep it nice and dark all night long. That will just help intensify the shade of black from the eyeliner. Also, if you had any glitter fall out, like glitter fall from your crease onto your liner, that will help clean it up as well. Cool, we're almost there. It's lash time. So we're just taking generic lashes. We're taking a 199 and a 301. And as far as stacking your lashes go, it's literally what it sounds like. You're gonna take one, put it right on top of the other. And there's, typically there's enough, like, stick them in the lash band to keep them together before you apply your, like, lash glue. So many products. Okay. That brush has had it. We thank her for her service. Okay. All right. Taking the 301, and I'm leaving the 199s in the tray. We're just going to put the 301s right on top. I start by lining up that inner corner, and then kind of mash them together as I go. And then I like to use my fingernail, really press them together. Can be a bit time consuming, but you know, if you take care of your lashes, you can get a few wears out of them before they're toast. And I know I don't do it myself because I don't have the kind of patience, but plenty of gals will actually like wash them with shampoo or Dawn or whatever and just reuse the same pair. I don't know until when they stop. I haven't tried it, but you can get several wears out of a nice, good stacked lash. And there we have it. As far as putting our lashes on, I cannot get over these gals that use weave bond to put their lashes on. Like, God, it's messy, it's hard to work with. It's not for me. So, My preferred lash glue is this Duo Brush On adhesive. It comes in a little green package. There's several different kinds of Duo, but this specifically is is in the green package. And as it dries, so it's white, and as it dries, it starts to turn blue a little bit, which will help you like paint it on, let the lash glue set for a little bit, and then when it's blue, pop the lash on. So we're just gonna brush this on the lash band. I like to do 2 coats per lash. And it dries completely clear when all is said and done. So that will help. I mean, it's gonna kill your illusion if you spent all this time on like this, you know, really intense black eye, and then you can see like white lash glue in the middle of that. It's not, you're killing the fantasy. So if you've got, you know, when your eyeliner is as thick as this, yeah, I do. I mash them in and just really like use my fingernail and really make sure those lash bands are nice and melded together. Gotta moisturize. Oh, look at that. That is what we call Snatched, ladies and gentlemen, which is also the name of my debut single, available on iTunes. It's getting a little chilly, so I'm gonna go ahead and shut the window. Okay. Now, when placing your lashes, I like to go a little bit above my natural lash line because lashes can be uncomfortable and unforgiving. I like to start from the outer corner and kind of work my way in and just kind of pressing the lash band into my liner as I go. And this is probably a first for me, that a new pair of lashes went on this easily for the first time. It does not happen. The drag gods are smiling on me tonight. These little fan brushes are great because if you have any fallout, any eyeshadow fallout, there's not a lot of bristles on them, so they really ever so gently can wipe away all that excess from on top of your loose powder without smudging. We are lashed, girl. Okay. Now, I want a little more intensity in my eye. Shocker. So I'm actually taking this little like Dippin' Pot liner. It's also the Italia Deluxe. Same shit as before. It's just it is just in a little different applicator. Watch, I say that now I'm like, okay, no, she's gonna cooperate. If you start to get teary at all during any of your makeup process, which does happen, it's just a natural reaction, just take a beat and breathe through your nose until the watering stops. So I'm just gonna so out here we have a big triangle on the outside. We're doing a little triangle on the inner wing to give us that Cleopatra painted vibe. And I love just this dramatic eyeliner because all those sharp lines and triangles, they kind of mimic like the flutter, like the intensity of your lash. it just makes a nice, consistent presentation. Small detail, but if this makeup is intended for any sort of competition capacity, then you want to be aware of those things. Okay. All right, now I want to crank up the drama just a little bit more. So we're going to take next, where was she? Looking for my white eyeliner. Oh, here we go. Okay. Italia eyeliner again, just in white this time. And doing a little line underneath my inner corner, like so. And that just gives you that really intense, opened up big eye. Hello, Miss Harmony. So it's just the same thought process that we've implemented with the rest of the eye. It's just that marrying of like the white and dark, light and dark, I guess. Really makes it pop. And then we're gonna do just a little bit on the end too. If your black liner was a little crooked or a little, you know, uneven or whatever, then you can use this step to clean up your wing liner as well. All right. Just drama, honey. That drama paint. If you want to get real kooky, you can pop a rhinestone down there or in your brow highlight. So that is an eye. That is my signature drag eye. So neutrals, blended, creased, glittered. What more could you want? And my eyelashes aren't poking me in the eyeball, which is great. So, okay, we're going to work our way down the face. We're just going to finish up the nose. We contoured it earlier along the bridge of the nose, and now we're going to really just, I love that skinny little drag toothpick nose. So we're going back to our cream, our full coverage foundation. And this is the tiniest little fibers on this brush. It's like a little dental instrument. It's tiny, tiny. And all we're doing is drawing an exclamation point on the tip of our nose. So the dot goes there, like that. Yes. And then draw the line, the exclamation point in the very center. And then just ever so lightly, just tap it out. Hi, Sarah. I'm looking forward to it as well, girl. Okay. And because that's cream, we need to set it so that it's not sliding all over. We're going to take our highlight powder again, and I actually put this all over the nose, so that not only will it set your nose highlight that we just put on, it'll lighten up the contours a little bit. I like a nice, like, you know, pointed nose, but I don't want it so rigid and unblended that it looks sharp, if that makes sense. Drag nose. All right, so now that that's done, we can wipe off the excess highlight powder from underneath our eyeball. And I can already see I want to do a little more blending over here. Add just a little more of that brown. Okay. So look up so you can see underneath, look down so you can see below. There's the eyeball. So we are painted for HD, hon. We are ready for the pageant. Well, thank you, Mom. Makeup helps. Okay, now it's time for details and a cheek. I am going to take, another favorite product of mine is MAC Vanilla Pigment. It's very, very highly concentrated, it's like loose pigment. The vanilla is a really good, it's a little goes a long way here. So what we're going to take, if I can find her. We just need a tiny little brush. And we're going to put just the littlest amount of that shimmer on the nose like that. And then we're also going to go underneath the brow bone, which will just take that highlight and just punch it, make it more dramatic. And it has like that, it's got that shimmer in it too, so it's really, it'll help you, you'll be glowing on stage. A little bit really goes a long, long way here, so don't need to go crazy. Huzzah. Okay, cool. We are almost there. Let's bust out our cheeks, shall we? If you can get your hands on one of these palettes, if you don't already have one, I don't care if you've been doing drag for 5 seconds or 5 years or 15 years, but this blush palette is the tea. As you can see, she's got some miles on her. But this is one of the first things I bought when I started drag. It's the Krylon Professional Blusher Set. And like I said, I'm missing 2 of the pans because life happens, but I've had this for going on 9 years. And you can see there's still a ton of these products left. Like I'm just barely getting down to the pans on these peach tones. So it's an expensive blush, about like $100, but I'll probably be dead before this runs out. So I recommend it. But yeah, no, the you can see, Brittany, that shimmer, it just really helps pop that brow bone. And it really will help it gleam on stage. Okay. So first thing we're going to do actually is we're going to go back to our MAC palette that we use, our Pro, what the hell is this called? Studio Fix powder. Yep, that's the one. And I'm just going over all these highlights and contours again. When I do any kind of highlight and contour step, I always start with contour, because by definition, you know, contours will minimize and push your features back, whereas highlighting will punch them forward. So, if we punch them forward as a last step, then that will prevent like it getting muddy and bleeding with your contours. So, we're just really gonna sculpt that face in. Yeah, you can use super white, but I find that doesn't have like the reflective qualities of the MAC pigment. So once again, it's MAC pigment in the shade Vanilla, and that's one of those staple products I've been using since I started drag. I really have come to love it, and it ain't let me down yet. So, but beware, a little goes a long, long, long way. All right. Let's put on a cheek. So, but not before we add a little more highlight. So we use a contour shades first. We're just popping some highlights on top. Look at that blend, bitch. Okay. Now it's time to dip into our beloved Krylon Professional Blusher Set 5115. That's how much I love it, and tell people about it is I know the product ID number. It's not sad. All right, we're gonna start with the apples of the cheek. We're gonna use this light pink here. With a nice fluffy round blush brush. And put some pink on the apple of that cheek. And then I'll just kind of drag that color out so it doesn't look like that Winifred Sanderson like dot. Okay. Now let's dip into these peach tones up on the top there. And we're just gonna blend it right in between our highlight and contour on the cheek. Swipe it on, girl. I'll even take some of this up into the forehead. By the time all said and done, I probably use at least a dozen different shades of blush and highlight and contour. So you get that really, really nice, rich ombre. And you know, skin naturally isn't just one shade. So just helps it look a little more like a face and a little less like a painting. All right, girl. I'm feeling it. Feeling it. Okay. I want a little more shimmer up on here. So we're going to go, this is from an old holiday collection. It's just an Extra Dimension Skin Finish powder highlight. And first I'm going to take a fluffy brush. And we're going to pop that shimmer right below the wing liner. Swipe it on. And just go until you've got that dewy glow that you want to see. Just gives you that nice little shimmer. Ooh, we love to see it. We love to see it. Okay. Just a lip. I wish I was more of a lip expert. Lips are hard. Lips, especially if you're newer, drawing on a lip shape that is totally not. If you have nice full lips, girl, just trace them. I do not. So I really overcompensate by drawing on like that, just that pouty, you know. I don't know what I'm trying to say exactly, but I hope the combination of those sound effects told some of the story. But if not, we're about to go and do it right now. So, okay. I love a nice nude lip. So we're just going to take this Boldly Bare lip pencil and just sketch on. Like I said, my lips are thin and boring. So when I draw my mouth on, I like to really make it nice and round and pouty. Start from the outside corner and draw in. So natural lip, fake lip. Speaking of fake lips, I'm actually overdue for a refill on my fillers. Fake lip. Okay. And then, ooh, I think we're gonna go. Ooh, yikes. Poor lipstick has had it. My other Mariah lip. Give this a go. Bit of bubbly. And there we have it. I think all this face is missing is a beauty mark. All right. Setting makeup. I personally think setting spray is the biggest crock of shit in the cosmetics industry. I mean, if you're like daytime dragon and whatnot, maybe, or day face, but it just doesn't hold up on stage. I use hairspray. Okay, this is Joyco Power Spray. It is I think it's the strongest spray that they make. My girlfriend Savannah uses these on all of my wigs. I use it when I style my own natural hair, when I get ready. It's been a couple weeks. But, yeah, so I just find that this just sets makeup beautifully, so. And it smells fantastic. I love the way this hairspray smells. Okay. Pop your blow dryer back on and blow dry from the bottom up. And that'll just help punch those lashes up a little bit more. You have just a little bit of that hairspray on your lash. I mean, they are natural hair, so that they'll react to the hairspray. And just give that lash just that little last bit of lift. So, here she is. So that is it, everybody. That is the face. If you have any questions about my products, my process, tips, tricks, whatever, by all means, shoot me a message if you want. I'd be happy to entertain as many of those as I can. And hope you learned a little bit. Hope you had some fun. So thank you all for tuning in. I certainly appreciate you sharing and liking and commenting and interacting with me today. So have a safe weekend wherever you find yourself. This is your reigning Southern States National Showgirl signing off. Have a beautiful weekend.